Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to give it like a minute just to make sure people can get in okay before we start. Appreciate you joining us tonight. Congratulations to our admitted students for our virtual Yellow Jacket event. Very excited to have you here. My name is Abby Quinlisk. I'm an admissions counselor here at University of Rochester. I work on the New York Metro team, primarily Manhattan and Queens. So if you're from Manhattan or Queens, I'm your admissions counselor. So congratulations. I'm joined by my colleague Sarah and Dr. Scott Sheehan tonight as well. I'm going to pass off to Sarah to introduce herself, and then we'll move over to Dr. Sheehan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome and congratulations. We're so excited, as Abby said, for you to join us today. My name's Sarah Lesbrance. I'm an admissions counselor here in the office as well. I travel primarily to Massachusetts and Connecticut. So if you're from any of those areas, well, Central Mass and Western Mass and most of Connecticut. So anything west of Worcester in Mass. So congratulations again, and we're so excited you could join us today. We are in Zoom webinar, so as we're moving through our presentation today, if you do have any questions, please feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen. And then at the end of our presentation, we'll have some time to answer those questions live. If you do have any admissions questions, Abby and I are here in the back to answer those types of general questions. But other than that, we'll have a live Q&A session at the end. So hang tight, ask your questions, and we will make sure to answer them at the end. But with that, I'll pass it over to Dr. Sheen.
Hi. Yes, thank you so much, Abby and Sarah, for the introduction. Hi, folks, and congratulations on being accepted to the University of Rochester. We're very excited to see you this fall. My name is Dr. Scott Sheehan. I work in the Greene Center, which is our career center here at the University of Rochester. Yeah, very excited to talk to you all today about the world of career here at the university. Um, I've got about 30 minutes of remarks, so we'll kind of go through that, and then at the very end of the presentation, we'll have a Q&A portion, as Sarah had alluded to earlier. So first, I want to kind of set the groundwork for what our conversation is going to look like today. So what I'm going to start out with is our philosophical underpinnings of our office. We come from a life design model here for career education at the University of Rochester. So I'll talk a little bit about our philosophy and what it means to be a part of the Rochester community. Um, Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about services and resources that the Greene Center specifically provides when it comes to career education. Next, we'll talk a little bit about the college competencies and the different takeaways that you as a student will have from here, whether it's skills or different experiences, outcomes, so jobs and internships and graduate school for those folks who are incoming students. And then we'll wrap things up with a conversation about how, for the parents and guardians and supports for students that are on the call, we'll talk about how you can best support your student during their time here at the University of Rochester. So first, I want to start with kind of a 10,000 foot view of the Greene Center and talk a little bit about our vision and our mission. So for our vision here at the Greene Center, uh, our vision is a world where world-class career education prepares all students to thrive in a diverse, global, and ever-changing future of work. So all of the things that we do here at the Greene Center are with that vision in mind. And within that vision, we have our mission, which is broken down into the four bullet points that you can see here below. So we commit to decreasing barriers for students. We help facilitate connections. We have curated experiences for students through our office, and we empower students and recent alumni to achieve their unique career aspirations. And we truly try to make it a unique and tailored experience for each University of Rochester student and their career education. So that's just a little bit about our vision and mission. Next, we're going to kind of dive into our philosophical underpinning a little bit deeper with that life design that I was talking about earlier. So, one of the aspects of life design, which comes out of Stanford, is get curious. So, get curious is exploring and looking at the different things that you can pursue with your degree and experiences. So, we really challenge students at the University of Rochester to get outside of the classroom, to have experiences where they just try things out, get curious, and really start to understand themselves better by just asking questions, trying to figure out, what is it that I'm passionate about? What can I pursue here at the University of Rochester? What opportunities are there for me? So we really encourage students right off the bat to get curious. Next, to test out these curiosities, we have students try stuff out. So whether it's volunteering, starting a project, working on campus through our wide variety of student employment roles, having an internship over the summer or even potentially over the winter, conducting research with our world-renowned hospital here at the University of Rochester. There's a lot of different research opportunities for students. So we really try to get students to have that hands-on experience and just try things out. Our next philosophical underpinning is talking to people. So talking to people is one of the best ways that we think that students learn about what their future might hold. So they can talk to fellow students, they can talk to their peers, they can talk to older students, talking to faculty, staff, alumni. We really try to incorporate the alumni perspective in all of our different events at the university, and specifically within the Greene Center. So talking to people is a huge tenet of what we try to incorporate in all of our programming here at the Greene Center. And finally, our last one is telling your story. So it's important for students to be able to articulate their story through a whole variety of means, whether it's through resumes or cover letters, or even just networking events where they can talk to alums and a lot of those other people I had spoken about earlier. Helping students to be able to tell their story is a really important part of what we do here at the Greene Center at the university. So we integrate life design through our one-on-one advising, our programming, our courses that we teach through the Greene Center, and partnering with our campus community to help students develop connections between what they're learning in the classroom and their career interests. In our next slide, we're going to talk a little bit about how the Greene Center supports students additionally. So we help them by creating opportunities for students to explore their interests, connect students to competency building experiences, build and expand students' professional networks through employer and alumni connections, and provide practice for articulating their professional story through interviews, networking, social media, and documents. So all of those things that I touched upon through our life design model, or these are the ways that we help from kind of a 5,000-foot view your student here at the university. Here is a lot of text. So as I'm kind of talking through, feel free to read through. But this is just a small example of all of the work that we do here at the Greene Center to be able to support students. So obviously one of the things that we do is our advising and programming. So we have one-on-one advising for students that is accessible during 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, all throughout the year, including the summer and the winter. So a big tip for students is we really encourage them to get involved early and often with the Greene Center. And I think that a lot of the best ways that students engage with us is even over the winter and summer breaks. So making sure to be able to do that is important. So programming, so getting involved with internships, research. We help with graduate school and job searches. Um, we also have different career education courses. So CASC 104, Designing Your Life, is a course that I'm going to talk a little bit more toward the end of the presentation about. But that course is really based on our life design model and helps students to be able to navigate what their experience here at the University of Rochester might look like and their life beyond the university as well. We also have Writing 273, communicating your professional identity. So these courses are within certain disciplines, so engineering, healthcare, and other academic disciplines, where they actually learn how to be able to communicate their professional experiences or the experiences that they're having within the classroom and outside of it. And we have our Real Readers program through this course to where we can connect actual alumni who read the different material that the students create in this class and give them feedback from a real world perspective. We have employer and alumni connections, so connecting students to different opportunities for internships and jobs in the Rochester area, and then also around the United States, in New York City, other major cities around the world. Additionally, we have money for internships and skill building. So we have over $200,000 that we are in the midst. Our application for this past semester just closed for our internship funding for this upcoming summer. We will be awarding over $200,000 of funding for students for their internships this summer to help fill that gap to where their internship might not be able to pay them enough for them to be able to take advantage of that experience. We also connect them to mentors. So we have mentorship opportunities that are available through the Meliora Collective Mentorship Program. This is a 3-month structured program that happens each semester with our partners in alumni relations. And then finally, we have a number of different technology tools, including tools that use AI. It's 2025, and I'd be remiss to not mention our AI tools here. Um, so we've got AI tools that help to read resumes, to be able to help you with the applicant tracking system that many of the Fortune 500 companies use. We also have different technology that helps with interview practice that goes beyond what our individual advising appointments can help with. We have employer simulations and projects through other technology platforms. And I'll get a little bit further into that in our presentation. But this is just an overarching encapsulation of the different services that the Greene Center provides. And I'm going to dive into a few of them a little bit more later on in the presentation. So next, what I want to talk a little bit about is our career education milestones. So these are foundational checkpoints to support your students' progress toward their professional aspirations. So these milestones are not prescriptive, and you can find them on our Greene Center website. But rather, they're a way for you to be able to get started. So, for example, if you click into the first year, there are a few different seminal events or moments or opportunities or experiences that we articulate through the website that could be really helpful in your student's journey, depending on when they want to engage with the Greene Center. We really encourage and hope that students right off the bat when they come to campus engage with us, but we know that that might not be a reality for all students. So whenever a student is ready to dive into their career education journey, these are some different checkpoints that we've identified that are really important for your students to have an understanding of their larger career journey here at the U of R. So next, I want to talk a little bit about the makeup and how we organize ourselves here within the Greene Center. So within the Greene Center, we have 7 career communities. So these 7 career communities, students are able to sign up for email communication from each of the, or from any of the career communities that they want to hear from. So if your student has varied interests or isn't quite sure what they want to do when they come in, which is totally commonplace here at the University of Rochester, the open curriculum really lends itself well to this exploratory process. So if you have a student who's interested in emerging technologies, but then also wants to learn more about healthcare and is a little bit interested in maybe going into consulting or finance, they can join all 3 of those career communities if they want. So each of these career communities offers a newsletter that comes out biweekly. They'll share internship information, job information with current students, and then be able to also highlight and connect them with employers and alumni events. We really encourage students to join whichever career communities they feel as though they identify with, and to really take a deep dive into having a better understanding of what opportunities are within those fields. Um, so that's just kind of a way that we break ourselves down. Each of our career advisors falls within one of these different career communities, so they have a breadth of knowledge where they are generalists as well. So they will meet with any student regardless of career community, but they also have a depth of knowledge about a particular field. So for example, we have 3 different career advisors who work within our healthcare community. And although they meet with every student, and all types of students with varied interests, they have an expertise in the healthcare professions. Next, I'm going to talk a little bit about those technology tools that I had alluded to earlier. So we've intentionally chosen our technology partners as a way to help students create connections and experiences that are unique to their interests. So Handshake is a platform for students to try stuff out. It's our comprehensive career platform where internships and jobs that we are developing are posted for students to apply. This is also where employer events and career community programs can be found. So it's really important for students right off the bat to start to utilize Handshake. And you actually have access to Handshake as a student before you even start here at the University of Rochester. So um, over the summer, take a look at Handshake, familiarize yourself with the platform. And that's really kind of our home base here at the Greene Center. Quincia. So this is the AI platform that I shared earlier. So about 80% of US companies, and this number is continuing to grow, are starting to use the applicant tracking system. So AI to be able to read through resumes very quickly. The Quincia is able to have students upload their resume and be able to get feedback as to how their resume is being read by the applicant tracking system so that they can make sure that they are touching upon important points in the resume so that they are able to stand out amongst the crowd. Quincia also has for um, first round interviews for many companies nowadays that is done through video. And they actually have a video feature where they will give you feedback on that application, on that video that you're able to submit through that first round of interviewing. So Quincy is a very powerful tool when it comes to that, when it comes to students being able to articulate their professional story, including their skills, achievements, and accomplishments. Additionally, I talked a little bit about the Meliora Collective Mentorship Program. The Meliora Collective is kind of like the LinkedIn of the University of Rochester. So on the platform, there's over 10,000 students, alumni, staff, and faculty that are on the Meliora Collective, and our folks are able to connect with folks similar to LinkedIn, reach out via messaging, to be able to really build their network in a really intentional way. Additionally, Forage, I had talked a little bit about those work simulations earlier. So Forage is a platform where students are able to gain really valuable small experiences for various companies. So for example, Bank of America has a Forage experience where you can take 4 to 6 hours and learn what it might be like to get into finance, for example. Um, and then finally, we have a tool known as Interstride. So Interstride is a platform that is accessible to and specifically designed for international students. This is an all-in-one portal offering reliable information and resources on jobs and internships with international student-friendly employers, employers that sponsor H-1B visas, and at both the entry level and more experienced roles. And a really cool factor for Interstride is that they have a Google Chrome extension that you can actually start to search for jobs, and it'll be able to help you to identify which of those jobs sponsors H-1B visas. Um, so next, I'm going to talk a little bit about our relationships that we have with employers. So in addition to providing connections, resources, and support to students, so we're also creating experiences and opportunities for Rochester students. So we recently recalibrated our corporate engagement strategy to better position us to create national and regional talent pipelines that will lead to internships and full-time opportunities for our students. When formulating this new strategy, we incorporated a weight toward corporations and organizations that hire and sponsor international students. Um, so we've piloted several different programs, including our industry road trips. Just a few weeks ago, we had gone to Paychex, which is a Rochester company that is very well known worldwide. We had also gone to a law firm within the Rochester area, and a number of other different companies this past semester. In total, this year, we've had roughly a dozen industry road trips, and we've had over 100 students be able to go with us to these different employers to be able to see what life might be like for a lawyer, what life might be like when working at Paychex. So it's really a valuable experience for those students to be able to talk to people who are currently living and working in those fields. So we remain committed to creating opportunities for your students to connect with alumni and employers through virtual, hybrid, and impersonal events and programming, including on-campus fall and spring career fairs, interviews, and related programming. So we really want to have an emphasis on that through our corporate engagement structure. We are really focusing on how do we help students land good, meaningful jobs and internships through their experience here at the U of R. So next, I want to talk a little bit about our college competencies. So through all of our programming and programming across campus, students are building skills and competencies, and the college developed the college competencies just a few years ago to be able to reflect the different skills that graduates, schools, and employers are looking for in today's student body. So they are looking at the skills such as teamwork, critical thinking, problem solving, and communication. And those are the different skills that we're trying to work with students to be able to develop while they're here at Rochester. The college competencies coordinate the knowledge students are gaining through co-curricular experiences and then connect this learning to our open curriculum that is core to the Rochester experience. So now I want to talk a little bit about some of those competency building experiences. So I talked a little bit earlier about some of these different competency building experiences, but I would just like everyone to kind of focus on all of the different opportunities that students have here at the University of Rochester between student employment, research, and any number of our labs that we have here at the university, internships with companies local to the Rochester area, but worldwide as well, community engaged learning, being able to get involved with the community and giving back to the Rochester area and community, classroom projects and virtual simulations, design challenges, education abroad, and different leadership roles within student organizations. There are a number of different experiences that students have here at the University of Rochester that prepare them for the world of work and prepare them for graduate schools as well. So now we're going to turn our discussion to our different student successes. So if folks are interested, the link at the very top of the screen is going to bring you to what's known as our first destination survey data. So this data, so it has a knowledge rate of 84%, which means that it's reasonable and verifiable information. And what you can see is that a large percentage of our graduating class from the class of 2024 entered the workforce at 51.2%. But then quite a few folks continued their education at 41.1%. So a lot of our students go on to pursue very meaningful work and very meaningful school experiences. And over the next couple of slides, I really want to emphasize some of the different fields that our students are going into. So here's a really cool slide that I hope that many of you are familiar with a lot of the companies that are within this slide. So this represents a lot of the major areas that our students are going into. So this is not an exhaustive list of where our students end up. So our students do go on to start small companies, to go on and be entrepreneurs, or they'll go on to work for any number of different organizations. But here are just a few of the larger employers that we have for the different spaces that our students are going into based on the data that we collect from our graduating seniors. So for example, over the last 3 years, which is what this data is looking at, our students are going and working in internet and software with Amazon, Google. They're working in investment banking with many of the major players within that space. And then management and consulting is another large area that a lot of our students go into. Healthcare, to probably no one's surprise, is also a large employer of our students, and our number one employer is here at the University of Rochester for healthcare. I think students really come here, enjoy their experience here within the Rochester area and being here at the U of R, and they want to stay here and continue to work and give back to the Rochester community. So this is just some examples of where are the top industries and employers for Rochester undergraduates are. But many of our students, as I had shared on the previous slide, for over 40% of our students, or right around 40% of our students on any given year, will continue on to graduate school. And these are the graduate schools that were the top graduate schools for Rochester undergrads. So, as you can see, a large number of institutions that are very prestigious from around the country. Um, of the students that are continuing their education, 61% of folks are attending master's programs, while 33% of folks joined a doctorate program. And then there's a smattering of other certificates and other graduate work that is not doesn't fall into that master's or doctorate bucket. Some of the different top degree programs that students are going into at these universities include computer science, the various engineering disciplines that we have here at the university, medicine, business analytics, law, optics, data science, finance, and medicine. And so through all of these different experiences, all of the skills that are gained, all of the competencies that students develop, and then all of the great things that they do when they move on to either the working world or on to graduate school. A lot of the a lot of that is due to this concept of career everywhere. Here at the here at the Greene Center, we are not the owners of career education. We like to think here at the University of Rochester that career education falls on all members of the Rochester community. So it is so much larger than just the Greene Center. Um, so from your student's college advisor to faculty, staff, other students, and alumni. We're all a part of a career ecosystem that works together to be able to support a student's career education from the time that they arrive on campus in August until they graduate 4 years later that May. There are so many resources at the Greene Center and across campus that students can take advantage of. So being able to have and to create this career everywhere narrative and this career everywhere network amongst the campus is really vital to the success of our students. Um, and next, I wanted to talk a little bit about our course that I had talked about earlier of designing your life. So CASC 104. So yes, this is a class that your student can take in their first semester. And it is 1 credit. It's an exploratory course that supports um, students who would like just a little bit more structure and support when exploring their interests and making sense of all the resources and opportunities available at Rochester. So this is a really great course if you have a student or if you are a student who has a lot of varied interests and wants to really start to conceptualize how you can best take advantage of the resources here at Rochester. I would highly suggest taking CASC 104 in either your first semester or your second semester. And we also accept students in any class here to be able to take the course, but I think it's most impactful when taking during that first year here at the U of R. Um, and to kind of wrap us up here, I wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, when your student comes home during, potentially fall break or Thanksgiving break or the winter break, just talking to the parents or guardians or family members within the crowd about how to ask questions. So I think that sometimes instead of asking, what are you going to major in or what are you going to do after graduation? What I would challenge folks to consider is, asking students, what are the new things that you've been trying out? Who have you talked to lately? What inspires you? Who are your role models? What kind of impact do you think you can make on the world? What challenges are you interested in solving? Asking these more open-ended questions begins to change the conversation and really opens up possibilities for your students. They might not clam up or they might not, or they might engage in conversation in just a different way than if you were to just ask them, what do you want to major in or what do you want to do with your life? So I would challenge folks to really conceptualize how you can use open-ended questions to really start to understand, who your student's talking to, what they're learning, and where they might be going. Um, Encourage engagement early on in many facets of student life here at Rochester. We have vibrant student clubs, a vibrant campus community, And a lot of the education that comes here at the University of Rochester, of course, happens in the classroom, but I would argue and challenge that potentially even outside of the classroom, there are a lot of opportunities to be able to really help define who a person is. Um, really challenge your student to connect with other students who are within their network, whether it's their roommate, whether it's the folks that are on their floor, the folks that are within their class. Um, you know, really trying to help them be able to get out of their shell to be able to really break that bubble. And also connect students to folks who are within your network, and connect your students' friends that they make here with your network. Just because your student might not be interested necessarily in the work that you do doesn't mean that they don't have peers and classmates who would really benefit from a mentor like yourself. And with that, I want to do make a plug for here at the Greene Center. We're always looking for volunteers, whether it be alumni or parents. Um, and you can become a Greene Center volunteer, support other students by volunteering your time to make one-on-one connections, to connect with them about their career interests, be able to hold mock interviews, to be able to hold technical interviews, and just mentor students in general. And finally, be on the lookout for information that comes through the Rochester Family Newsletter. And make sure to tell your student to stop by the fourth floor of Dewey Hall, which is where the Greene Center is located, when they get here on campus this fall. Uh, that will conclude the things I wanted to share with you all. Just a little bit over 30 minutes, so not too bad. But would really love to open it up to you all for any questions that you might have. And yeah, thank you all for your time this evening.
Thank you, Scott. That was very informative. I know I learned some new things about the Greene Center I didn't know before, and we did get some questions in. So we have some great questions from the family and students. The first one we have is, if the Greene Center were a toolbox, what are the top three tools every student should grab first, apart from the apps you mentioned?
Oh, I love the way that's framed. I love the if the Greene Center was a toolbox. So I would say that the most important tool to grab first would be to actually make a connection with one of the people who work within the Greene Center. So I think we have a lot of, like I had mentioned, a lot of those really great technology tools, but I think for us, what we really try to center our practice and our advising practice here on is to build those genuine relationships with students so that we can better understand things about the student that they may not realize themselves. So I think being coming in and just scheduling an exploratory one-on-one appointment in your first semester is the first thing I would reach for, because you'll start to, through those conversations with our career advisors, you'll start to better understand yourself, and you'll be able to start to better understand the resources that are here to be able to help you succeed. So I think first off, definitely making a connection with one of our career advisors. Um, then after that, something that we're really excited about here at the Greene Center is that as part of your orientation process this year, you all are going to be engaging with a platform called Pathway U. So Pathway U is a platform that we use here within our advising at the Greene Center that helps you to be able to better understand potentially what your path may look like. So you through Pathway U, you take four different assessments, one about your workplace preferences, your personality, um, and two other personality, workplace preferences, values, and the fourth one always escapes me. But you'll take those um, four different instruments, and it'll be able to tell you what here within the Rochester curriculum might be exciting to you, or what jobs might align with the interests that you have. So I think that Pathway U platform that you'll be taking over the summer is also a really helpful tool for you to be able to conceptualize how you might best use your time here at the U of R. And then finally, the third and final tool I would say through the Greene Center would be, huh, I would say probably Handshake. I think that's where we post all of our different events that we have. So each one of our career communities hosts a signature event each semester. These signature events are alumni connected, they're large in scale, and we have a lot of different learning outcomes that I think are really important for students to learn during those signature events. So I would say to kind of recap those three tools. So scheduling a one-on-one advising appointment, utilizing the Pathway U platform that you'll all have access to this summer. And then third and finally, going to Greene Center events and specifically those signature events that we host.
Great. So the next question we have is, with the softening of the tech field and the rise of public LLMs, how is the Greene Center advising computer science students for careers?
Yeah, so I think that that is a very interesting point of conversation right now when it comes from a curricular perspective, but then also a career perspective. So to the questions point through the recent development of technology changes, whether it be AI or whether it be large language models, our computer science department is really starting to adapt with the times. So I think that, you know, for I think that rightly or wrongly, institutions, universities have a reputation of not being able to adapt to change very like quickly or very frequently. But I would say that here at the University of Rochester, our computer science department's done a really nice job of rising to the occasion and being able to help students through changes in curriculum and changes within the structures that they have to be able to adapt to the ever-changing technology needs of the future of work. So I think that the university, through a curricular approach, but then also for the Greene Center, a lot of the different internships, a lot of the different opportunities that are out there, we are trying to help folks to be able to take what they may have learned through a computer science class, whether it be language models, whether it's Python, C++, any of those types of things, and to be able to, obviously, they'll have that technical skill, which the utility of that, you know, the utility of those particular skills um, may or may not be as useful moving forward, but really helping the students to be able to articulate to future employers that they are able to quickly learn new technologies, that they are able to quickly adapt to change. Like those different career competencies that I had talked about earlier are of huge emphasis here at the Greene Center because regardless of how technology changes in the future, we believe that the students here at the U of R, through the different things that we are teaching them, are going to be prepared for whatever those changes may be.
I'd also like to plug a little bit about the computer science department. We're doing the virtual Yellow Jacket experience for all the academic departments too. The computer science department did one a couple weeks ago. We have recordings of all these sessions on our YouTube playlist, which I'm sure Sarah's going to share a link with that later on. So you can watch that if you want to learn more about the computer science department in general. And you can also browse the course list online. We have every course for every major online. So if you want to see how they're adapting the academics to the ever-changing world of technology, you can also look up our course list too and see what computer science is now offering as well. All right, our next question is, someone was asking about the name of the class you were just talking about a couple slides ago.
Yeah, so that is so it's the number for so when they look to register for the course, it's CASC 104, and this class is called Designing Your Life and Career.
Thank you. And I think that's all the questions we have so far in the Q&A. I'm sure people are typing out some more, but I have a couple questions of my own if you don't mind answering them.
Yeah, go for it, Abby.
I think as an admissions counselor, I hear a lot from parents on the road and students too, like the concern about internships and like when they should seriously start looking at internships. I know we talked about the milestones a little bit, but in your professional opinion, when do you think students should actually like seriously start looking at internships and connecting with you guys?
Yeah, I think that's a really great question. And I think it's something that, especially for students from, various backgrounds or first generation students, I think that that can be a really confusing and just something that there's a lot of ambiguity around it. So I think we have students that engage in internships over the summer at a number of different points within their college career. So it's not necessarily the same for everyone. So for instance, for folks who are interested in going into investment banking, that process if you are interested in an internship for the summer, you would actually start the first fall when you start here. If you are interested at all in starting that first summer, and actually the way that the investment banking world works, you would be essentially their searching happens a year and a half in advance of whenever they would actually land their internship or job. So that particular field, it starts very early on. And also, depending on whatever industry that you're going into, their application cycles vary for internships. So just making sure that you make that schedule with a career center advisor to be able to kind of learn what the typical flow of internship application cycles is for the industry you're interested in. But we have students who engage right off the bat that first summer between first year and second year that have an internship, that do research, that um, yeah, they kind of dive in and go in right away. But then we'll also have other students who don't start to have an internship until the summer between their sophomore and junior year. Or we even have some students who don't have an internship until the summer between their junior and senior year. I don't think that there's, I think what we would encourage students to do that if you do have the opportunity to have that internship, it's really a way for you to be able to try stuff out. So going back to our philosophical underpinnings of life design, the more that you can try out during your undergraduate experience and be able to gain that experience, kind of the better you are. Because if you go in and you learn that you absolutely love the thing that you did in your internship, then that's great. Then you can try to gain more experiences just like that. But if you go into the internship and you don't necessarily enjoy that experience and you learn that about yourself, I think that is equally as valuable for our students. And so I think I would really encourage students to, you know, early within their college careers, really consider an internship between their first and second year. But I also would say that if you are not able to get an internship during that time period, that don't feel as though you're behind necessarily. I think it's all about what are those opportunities that are available to you, whether it's in your field or through your network. Yeah, students start their journeys at all different points, but I think the earlier you can connect with the Greene Center, the more likely you are to, you know, kind of get involved and hit the ground running.
And kind of piggybacking off that a little bit, I don't know if you know like the exact percentage, but how often do you see at the Greene Center that internships have led to full job offers after school for students, like with the same company?
Yeah, I would say we don't really have a good percentage for that per se. I think that for us, I think just anecdotally, I think that there is that I know a number of students just off the top of my head that, for example, we have a student who did an internship with both Jeffries and then also Bank of America during their time here. And they have decided to, it was kind of not necessarily a bidding war between the two of them, but that they were a highly sought after candidate by both companies, and they ended up deciding to go with Bank of America afterward. So I think that there are definitely opportunities for students to continue on to full-time work after internships. But to put a percentage on it, I would say I can't really necessarily do that. But I think anecdotally, we do see frequently students that will go on to full-time employment from a place that they had interned with, or what we often see as well is that if a student engages maybe in research with a professor, that potentially those different connections and those ties that that professor may have at other institutions leads to opportunities for graduate school, strong letters of recommendation. So getting involved in research or internships definitely gives you a leg up when it comes to, finding that gainful employment after graduation or going on to graduate school.
Awesome. Thank you. And I had one last question. I know my colleague Sarah had a couple as well, so I'll pass it off to her after this one. But you were talking earlier about the Meliora Collective. I was actually at a yield event last night in Westchester, New York, and we had some alumni there. And one of our alumni, Luke, he's a lawyer and he does the Meliora Collective. He's one of the mentors, one of the alumni. And the way he spoke about it was so amazing. He was so invested in it. And it just got me wondering when you're kind of talking about it, How invested are these alumni in our current students and their success with their careers?
Oh yeah, I think that the Meliora Collective, the mentorship program, is one of the best things that we do here at the University of Rochester. I think I've not able to sign up for the mentorship program, but in the second semester is when you're able to start that. So I would say starting that early and often as well is super good for students.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks. So, first of all, that was awesome. Thank you so much for being here today and being willing to give this presentation. It was super helpful. As Abby said, I learned a lot of really cool things as well. But one thing that I love to ask departments, including academic sessions too, is what is some advice that you would give to these admitted students that are coming in, that are sort of at college for the first time? What would you say from your department's perspective or your perspective is your piece of advice for entering sort of this new phase of life?
Yeah, I think for us it kind of goes back to our fundamental like those philosophical underpinnings of talk to people. So I think that for me, I think my biggest advice to any first year student is to just go get out there, talk to as many people as you can, learn as many stories as you can, and learn how to talk about your own story as well. I think that it is so important for students to be able to learn who they are and how they can articulate that to others is just so important when it comes to not only career, but also just life in general. And I would also say just getting involved in as much as you can. I think that obviously there's that good balance of, between academics and between extracurricular activities, but really just diving full in head first into this experience of college because it goes by so quickly. I think oftentimes I was just at a student event tonight where there are a handful of seniors who are there, and a lot of our seniors right now are just talking about like, wow, I can't believe 4 years just went by so fast like that. Like it feels like I just got here to the university. So, yeah, biggest piece of advice is to just soak it all in and just take as many chances and take as many opportunities as you can because it goes by so quickly.
Great. We did get another question in the chat. How do you help pre-meds tell the difference between I love science and I should be a doctor?
Yeah, so that is a very good question. So I think that as probably folks within the audience could imagine, we have a lot of folks who come to the University of Rochester because they want to conceivably become a doctor or work in the medical field. Being connected to the hospital, having it be, a 10-minute walk down the street to be able to engage in the research and the great things that are happening over at the medical center. It is really appealing to students coming from high school to join us here in undergrad. And I think that for the Greene Center, what we really can help students do through, recommending different coursework that may align with different skills that they may want to have. But we can really help students through finding research opportunities, through finding shadowing opportunities, through those different experiences to be able to know for themselves. So going back to that concept of trying stuff out, that, whether it's you're joining, there's a student group called MERT on campus, which is a medical response team that you can become EMT certified, for example. So we encourage a lot of students who want to go on to become doctors to join that student group to see, if you're someone who passes out at the sight of blood, like potentially being a surgeon is not the career path for you, which is a true thing that happens to some of our students I have even worked with where they thought that they wanted to go into a certain type of medicine or a certain type of yeah, a certain type of medicine, and they learned very quickly that they need to pivot to something else. And that is totally fine. And that is exactly what college is here to do, is to be able to help you to be able to better understand yourself and to be able to better understand how you can succeed and live a meaningful and successful life, however that may look. So I think that is what we really try to help students to be able to do is to try stuff out, go shadow, go do research, figure out what it is that brings you meaning and brings you joy. And then how can we help you to be able to, obviously we're going to help you take all the different prerequisites that you need to get into medical school if you need to. We have an in-depth health professions questionnaire process where it's a mock interview essentially for medical school that we host. Over 100+ students every single year go through that mock interview process with us to be able to really prepare them for their medical school applications and that interview process. So we have a lot of different tools and a lot of different things that we do to help students to be able to figure out like, oh, like is MD or DO or something within the healthcare professions something for me? But yeah, we can help you start to figure that out early and often.
And just to give my like little admissions spiel about pre-med too, we actually don't have a pre-med major either. You can do any major on campus and do pre-med. It's a track you do that helps prepare you for like the MCAT and going to medical school. You also get an additional advisor just for pre-med too. This person works with you just for the pre-med side. So we have plenty of students who are history majors and do pre-med, anthropology, business. So you don't have to do biology, you don't have to do chemistry if you don't want to. Obviously, those are still very popular majors on the campus, of course, but pre-med is really interesting here because I think nowadays too, I'm sure Scott, you've seen this with med schools, like they are looking for students that have a bit more of interdisciplinary methodology with academics, not just pre-med bio only. So they want to see that kind of differentiation with the academics too on the campus.
Yeah, and I think even beyond that point, Abby, I think something for folks to know and something that we truly believe here at the University of Rochester is that, major does not equal career. I think that what we really try to help install into students is that through those co-curricular activities and what they're learning in the classroom and those skills that they're developing, like yes, their major coursework is important and it's potentially they may go into the field that they are majoring in, but we have so many examples of folks who go and major in one thing and then go on to be amazing professionals. For example, we have an alum who's coming back for a program in a couple of weeks, Ray, who currently works in information technology for a bank, who majored in Japanese. And I believe it was Japanese and political science when they were here in undergrad. And another alum that we have is the CEO of an aerospace engineering company, and I believe that her undergraduate major was French. So I think it just I think that that major does not equal career. That narrative, I think it really truly is about those skills that folks develop and how we at the University of Rochester are able to prepare people for the future of work and for the different skills that they need to be successful in those careers.
Thank you for the very robust answer. I fully agree. And I love that philosophy at our university here. I do think we have time for potentially one more question. I don't see any in the Q&A right now. I don't know, Sarah, if you had one last question.
So maybe if we just wanted to leave a couple more minutes to see if anybody in the chat wanted to type their answer into the Q&A. Always love to leave that space there. But I just wanted to say thank you so much again, Scott, for being here today. This was super useful. And congratulations again to our students. But any last remarks that you wanted to leave our students with, Scott, before we sort of send them off?
Yeah, I would say, oh, yeah, I guess just, yeah, thank you to Abby and Sarah for having me talk to you all tonight. What you will see there is our general email address, but you can also find myself on our Greene Center website. If you had any particular questions that weren't answered, or if you have any questions just in general about career education that you did not want to bring up in the Q&A portion today, feel free to reach out to me individually or use that career.center@rochester.edu email. But yeah, we're so excited to see you this fall and yeah, really happy to have you join our Rochester community.
We did get one final question,
Oh,
and I think it's a really good one too.
great.
What's one career tip you give your freshman year self now that you know what you know?
Ooh, one career tip. Um, I think that I would have given myself that I need to talk to more people. I think that I have always kind of been a naturally extroverted person, But I think that I would have even taken it up a notch in that first year as a first year student of just talking to just anyone and everyone. Because I think that what I've learned through my own career and then just what I see for students even at the university is that, talking to people, learning their story and being able to articulate your story in a concise and meaningful way is just so important for you to be able to let people know, what it is that you value and who you are as a person. So yeah, so I would say get out there, have a first year me and go talk to people and try stuff out and just dive in head first.
I think that is literally perfect advice to end this on. Scott, thank you so much for your time, for sharing your knowledge about the Greene Center with not obviously me and Sarah, but the students and the families too. This was an amazing session. This will be up on our Yellow Jacket playlist on YouTube if you like to watch it later or send it to people that you know are interested in it. Congratulations again to all our mid students. Thank you so much to Sarah, my colleague, and Stephanie, my colleague, recording the background this session. Have a good night wherever you are, and hope to see you in the fall. Thanks, everyone. Bye.